I'm live and so happy to be here with you. Welcome to the full moon in Cancer ceremony. Do we have sound? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Lee always checks my link. You guys will usually tell me if you can hear me. Yes, we have sound. Okay, yay. Okay, cheers. Fantastic, darling. Love the technology working. Mercury is not in the microwave anyway, so we should have a better go of it tonight. Welcome into the full moon in Cancer. How are you doing? How's it hitting? I want to start by saying, as I just pull my notes over because I have quite a lot to say tonight. We need this water energy here in Southern California. I live in the greater Los Angeles County. I am fortunate that I have been safe through this process. Our air quality has been horrible, but we have not, my family, my direct family has not sustained losses. However, it has hit close to home. Some of our staff members' families have. Good friends have lost everything. And it's whatever you see on the news, it's a bigger deal than that. And it has come closer to places in Los Angeles than Lee and I, as native Los Angelinos, have ever seen. So I just want to say huge prayers out to everyone in Los Angeles, gratitude to the immense fire response that we have seen, and it coming from all directions has just been really inspiring. Saw some beautiful footage today of firemen rescuing animals in the Angeles National Forest, and it was remarkable. So it reminds you there's still good in the world and people just doing their absolute best. So big prayers up for Los Angeles County. We are facing a heat wave this weekend, and the winds are not going to move in the right direction. So we're just holding our breath here, but thank you for all of your prayers and your thoughts, and also just generosity. I know a lot of you have made donations to different places. We are making a donation this week to the Pasadena Humane Society, who has taken in, I think it's now over 6,000 animals who've been displaced, lost, or surrendered there because of evacuation. So thank you for helping us do good work in the world too. I also want to say I'm going to be burning some incense tonight, and I'm really excited because from Greece for you, I have imported, we put these together. It's kind of a Valentine's Day little treat for you, but a Greek charcoal disc and Greek monastery incense made on Mount Athos, which is a very sacred holy site. This is rose frankincense. And so if you would like some really beautiful incense that we have put together for you on the full moon in Cancer with all of that rose scented magic, those are available on athenaslair.com. and also on Etsy. I do have an Etsy shop, but if you shop on my website starting today, everything is a few dollars less, because what we're going to do is just give you back the Etsy fees, basically. So I have the same products on my website as I do on Etsy, but they're going to be a little more affordable on my website because we're giving you our Etsy fees back. We thought that was nice to do. And in gratitude for all that you do to support us all year long. Okay, so I am gonna light some incense and get a little bit of that magic going, and then I'm gonna talk to you about this full moon. Do I have any Cancer moon folks in my feed? Sun, moon, rising, Cancer? Give a shout. Let's talk about it. I'm sure you're feeling this full moon a little more intensely than anybody else, because it's hitting. It's hitting in one of your most important, that energy is resonating with one of your most important placements. But even if you're a North Node Cancer, it's going to be speaking to you pretty potently. My Mercury is in Cancer, so I'm in my feels through my communication, through words spoken to me and words that I speak. That's how I experience the energy of Cancer in my chart. So a little bit of charcoal firing up there, which is always one of my favorite sights to see. It doesn't stay that fiery that long, but it burns so evenly. Before I started working with this incense and then decided to bring it to you, I hadn't really worked with Greek incense before. And it's different. It's better than the quick light stuff. It lights really fast. It burns really evenly. And then you get a whole little heart-shaped tin of these goodnesses that you put on your disc. And in just a second, you'll start to see the plume of smoke. And it literally is pure rose and pure boswellia, pure frankincense. The rose is from Greece and the frankincense is from Africa. So it is a potent combination of two very ancient places that bring you, see it sissing and hissing at you. Isn't that beautiful? So there's that rose. So I'm just going to offer a little bit of that to you. In Greece, when we burn incense, the idea is that the smoke is carrying our prayers to heaven. So I just want to say a prayer tonight for Los Angeles and all surrounding counties, all places in California that have been through the fire this week in so many different ways. My big prayers up is that the winds stay calm, move in the right direction, and that all are safe and well. Amen. And then I'm just offering a little bit of that around my space, over my drum. It's nice to also just put your phone through it. You know what I mean? Your phone holds a lot of energy. So letting that burn. And then one thing I want to teach you about incense, because I'm pretty conservative with my resources. That's enough for me to do what I wanted it to do. So now I'm going to take the rest of it off with my tongs and just move it off of my charcoal. And that will harden. And then I can save it for later. Isn't that cute? Here's a little leftover piece from earlier that I was burning. So one little piece of your incense will last you 2 or 3 or 4 burns if you want. You did the phone cleanse earlier. It's a thing. And then I'm going to light my rose candle that I made for you. A lot of you have this candle. I'm bringing in the element of fire, bringing in the element of air through smoke. And then I'm going to, what shall I anoint with tonight? I'm going to use a little bit of my, this is called my hug mist, but it's a combination of patchouli and rose and champaka. So I'm just going to anoint with that, bringing in the element of water. And of course the aromatherapy of it, which is beautiful. And then if you have any stones you would like to charge, I'm just, my real calling tonight, I do have a piece of topaz that I was called to keep in the space. And I did have a piece of green apophyllite, which is really good for your heart chakra. And then in my bra, I have a pink tourmaline. Some of you got that in my live sale on Friday. These little pink tourmalines, they're so gorgeous, but pink tourmaline's a heart opener. So where better to put it? It can end up looking like a nipple, and you just want to be careful of that. If if it's a thing, you can put one on the other side and then even it out, so it's not weird. So that's your earth element coming in to balance the other 3. It's right there. Just remember to take it out before you get undressed. We've all had those moments. For some of us, it's more awkward than others, right? When the whole half pound of stones you're carrying in your bra comes flying out on the floor. It's weird on a first date, Here's my thing. It's better to come out of that closet real early. If somebody's dating you and they find out 6 months in about the stones in your bazooms, like, really? I think it's better just to say, I put rocks where the sun don't shine. I just think you should know. A lot of things can make a first date weird. I imagine I'm probably one of the weirder ones on the planet, but that definitely can do it for you. So yours are in the washer. Yeah, that happens sometimes too. All right, so let's talk about it. I pulled a couple cards for today just to get some clarity, and from the major arcana of the tarot, arcana. Arcana means mystery, right? There's major mysteries and minor mysteries in these cards. So the card that came up first was the High Priestess, which I think is a very appropriate card for a full moon in Cancer. The High Priestess engages her inner world and her outer world at the same time. So she stands between the two. Is very much aligned with the concept of shamanism, which is a more sort of common word that you hear. You don't hear many people saying, I'm a priestess anymore, although a lot of us are trained as them. But you do hear a lot of people say that they are shaman. And so I think that's sort of our modern take on a high priestess. So glad you found me, and I'm glad you're here. Welcome in, by the way. You haven't missed much. We're diving right in now. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what it means to have a full moon, what it means to have a full moon in Cancer. I also want to share with you that I have a class where we do an after party after this. And Circe, who is our moderator for that class is here, and Vanya, who's also one of our moderators, is here. So if you would like to join us, starting from 6:30 to 7:30, we go off onto a different YouTube link and let things devolve. Because I'll go anywhere, right? So we kind of talk about anything and everything. And I have a book tonight and a really cool writing exercise for you guys. So we're going to be practicing a little magic tonight over in that group. So you're welcome to join us. You can go to magicalentrepreneur.com and sign up for Wax and Wane if you'd like to be there for that part. But we are going to do a full ceremony tonight for those of you who are here now, and I'm here for it. I do want to say this is not an easy full moon, and even my friends who like aren't into what I do, you know, you don't have to be into what I do to be my friend. Even my friends who are like, you know, just they don't live in this world, have been like, so what's going on? What the hell is going on? There's a lot happening because this is not the same Cancer full moon as last year. That's the first thing I want to tell you. Okay. So Pluto has transited from Saturn to Aquarius. Well, what does that mean? Well, kind of the deeper unconscious of our planet, who we are, the shadow, right? The things that are hidden from us, right? Pluto is the god of the underworld. So it's this idea of what's under the hood. Pluto's been stationed in Saturn for a very long time and it's transited to Aquarius. So it is going from, or has gone from the sign of grounded, paternal, very masculine energy to this air element now. It's like, whoa, I'm starting to see things I didn't see before. I'm starting to understand things I didn't understand before. And it doesn't make it easier to see things and understand them. In case your mama didn't tell you, right? The gift of discernment is great, but it doesn't make life easier to know. Sometimes have you ever heard of, what do they say? Ignorance is bliss. You know, sometimes you're like, but okay, can I unknow that? So there's definitely that energy. And because Mars is retrograde in Cancer until February 24th, what that means when a planet is retrograde, it's closer to the Earth. You feel it more strongly too, right? What that is about, Mars and Cancer retrograde, what all of that means is it's what you're fighting for. You know, it's what you feel like is your cause. And because it's in Cancer, so it's retrograde in the same planet as the sun right now, or moon, I'm sorry. The moon, Mars, Neptune, Saturn, and Venus are all in water signs right now. And Mars is retrograde in Cancer. So you may need to fight for your rights and your needs. You also may be in a place, and I'm there, please, you know, if you are there too, that's awesome. Let's celebrate it together. I'm so able to articulate right now what I need and how I want it delivered to me, what I want the packaging to look like. And it's a little cut and dry. And that's not very Cancerian, right? Cancers are usually like, well, it would be really nice if we could, you know, Cancers can be an iron fist, but it's always in a velvet glove. Right now, it's a little bit of like, so I need this from you and I need that from you. And that's not going to work. So you can take that over there and then you over here, emotionally speaking. Okay. So boundaries are being erected now in a way that a lot of us maybe didn't have them, or they were kind of porous. So that's part of the energy that's coming up. Water signs, Cersei said she's been sleepy as fuck. Water signs, you guys are trying to sleep right through these 3 days. And it's okay. I see you. So is every other water sign. Yeah, pretty much every Cancer, Pisces, right, that I know, they'd rather be in bed even right now. And I know that you're here with me and I so appreciate that. But I bet if you could, you would just like shut this thing and tune me out. And so it's okay. Lots of tears. I have cried every day too. And I was having a moment in the kitchen last night. Hope it's okay to just kind of start this way, but it feels right. Cancer is about intimacy too, so we might as well have these conversations. I was having a moment in my kitchen yesterday, and I'm a big Amy Winehouse fan. We had it set to this because we were cooking last night. Zoe and I had it set to this like rotation station. So it was a lot of really good music, from a lot of it from the 90s and 2000s. This song came on by Amy Winehouse called Tears Dry Themselves, or Tears Can Dry Themselves, or Tears, will dry themselves, whatever. And all of a sudden we both stopped talking and I was listening to the lyrics. And I looked at Zoe and I said, who is this? And she goes, are you serious? This is Amy Winehouse. I'm My 15-year-old daughter looked at me like I had 3 heads. And I'm like, "Okay, I don't know everything." You know what I mean? Just because there's a song on the radio doesn't mean that your 150-year-old mom knows exactly who sang it, but I was so touched. Have you heard it? Tears Dry on Their Own. So anyway, that's my song for you now at this Cancer full moon is that tears dry on their own. And they do if you give them long enough. That's the thing about tears. So it came up just at the right time. But I've been weepy, but I've also been not weepy. And that's the Mars retrograde. The Mars retrograde, and there was a other thing I wanted to tell you. I feel like I'm catching up with an old friend. And in so many ways, that's what these moon ceremonies are all about. The other thing I wanted to tell you was about this meme I saw, and I should have saved it. Do you ever have that happen when you're scrolling and you're like, this is such a good meme? And then you're like, I'll save it. And then you're like, no, I'll see it again. And then you totally don't see it again. I'm sure I could Google it and find it, but it was a quote from Hecate, as if she was talking to you, right? She's one of the goddesses that guards the gateway to the underworld, right? And so the quote said, dear beloved, I see how you have struggled, and I know that it's been hard, but basically, now get the fuck up and get to work. Love, Hecate. And I thought that is such a Cancer full moon, Mars retrograde, like in one fell swoop. But of course it would be Hecate to bring us that little dose of like, now all done. Tears will dry themselves. Tears will dry on their own, right? Stop crying. Okay. And then the other thing I wanted to tell you, because some of you have most of you been with me for the last couple of full moons, like since I left the place I used to be and moved into this iteration. Is anybody new tonight and hasn't seen me in a while? So my thoughts on the full moon have really evolved in the past 12 months because I had a couple of manifestations happen this part of last year, and things I had really hoped for a long time, and things I had set intentions for at new moons. And I've talked to you about full moons. Yeah, so some of you are first time back for Dina Boyer. So great to see you. Cassandra's first time, and then some of you have been here. Michelle Brucker, it's great to see you. So honest to goodness, I always told you new moons are for setting intentions and full moons are for illumination and manifestation and all those things. But like when I finally got to a place this year where I was feeling that and seeing that, so I'm going to tell you now this whole year what I've done, and I'm going to ask you to do it, and I'm going to do it live with those of you who are in Wax and Wane. We can do a little bit here too if we have time. I really want you to start writing down not just your intentions at the new moon, but your I am statements at the full moon. Okay. To me, the I am is the prefix, if you will, of the sentence that creates your future. It's your destiny statement. Anything you say after the words I am is an absolute declaration to the universe of your full willingness and readiness to step into what it is you're really not just wanting to create, but ready to create. And I think the universe responds to that readiness. So, but that's a newer practice for me. And I really didn't start talking about it until I came back with you this summer after taking a brief hiatus after stepping down from my position in my former company. So, I mean, I still own half that company, but my former role in that. Anyway, it's a long story. I don't want to talk about it. So a Cancer full moon is different. It hits different when Pluto's in Aquarius versus Pluto and Saturn. And I really want you to start thinking about the extent to which you are consciously working on manifestation at the full moon. Does that make sense? So you're going to write sentences, and you can do it while we're doing all the things tonight, right? You can just start writing. Get out. I like a clean piece of paper. Doesn't have to be a new notebook, but I do like a clean piece of paper. There's something about that being your canvas, and just start writing. I am, and fill in the blanks. I like sentences like I am ready for, I am open to, I am allowing, I am receiving, I am honoring. I would really love you to dig into the I am honoring sentence for me. Yeah, I like that. So Colin beautifully put said, I release equals dark moon. I intend equals new moon. Dark moon is the night before the new moon. And I am is full moon declaration. It's lovely. It's beautifully put. And it very much resonates with what has been true for me. And especially, like I said, this year. I think I always felt it, Colin and everyone, but I think this year it's one thing to have a felt experience, it's another thing to have a lived experience. And I really started to see almost sometimes spontaneous manifestation, like within 24 hours of the I am statements. So now I'm a little mindful with mine. Sometimes with new moon intentions, you're just, you're going and you're going and you're going because it's like, and you know what? While we're at it, Santa, I would also like a pony, right? Because it's just we give it all up and see what the universe brings. With these I am statements, because it's about the destiny that you're stepping into. And it literally is like you can almost feel the coagulation of the energy start to form the reality in front of your eyes. If you believe in energy, it's like if you could really see what's happening around you all the time in your life, it would blow your mind. You are really literally consciously creating your future in this moment, because there is no time. And so your future is happening at the same time that your past is happening. And it's all energetic. It's all sort of malleable and pliable. But I also believe that there is a force of destiny. The Greeks called it the muse. That really there's a golden thread that sort of pulls you forward. And what I want to say about tonight is this is a hard one because it's a big emotional moon. It's the moon in her natal sign of Cancer. Cancer rules the home, the mother, right? So everything about mothering comes up now. Everything about home comes up now. Are you home? Is your home home, or are you home? The saying, is anybody home? And it's, for me, I've been thinking about it a lot because I am deciding where I want my home to be and what I want that to look like. And, there's so much a part of me that feels like I am home. And so wherever I go, I'm home, right? So wherever I live, that's where my kids would probably call home. And so, but we're redefining home right now, all of us. Like, it's really weird. The collective is redefining home. People who lost their homes this week just had Christmas in those houses and hung stockings on those chimneys, right? Celebrated Hanukkah with their family there, just rang in the new year in those homes that some of them have been in there for 30, 40, 50 years or longer, right? So home is literally being redefined. And in some cases, we're choosing to redefine it. And in some cases, Mother Nature's like, redefine, and you're not giving a choice or getting a choice. So, yeah, I want you to think about all of that. And I would like to also visualize, if you wouldn't mind, like, let's just take a second and then we'll go into our own work together. If you can visualize the moon that's above you tonight, as if she is like a water balloon, right? She's all Cancerian. Are you okay? Do you need anything? Can I make you more comfortable? Right? It's very tender, nurturing energy. And every time I tell you to do this, if you move your hands, you'll feel it too. You start to feel this kind of like, these energy balls are kind of sticky and your fingers will start to tingle a little bit when you ask to pull energy together and direct it. So I want you to visualize that all of that big watery lunar energy tonight, we call it drawing it down in magic. So I want you to visualize, if you can, drawing that big watery lunar energy down with your hands and then directing it to Los Angeles. That could look like we have a weird rainfall out of nowhere, right? That could look like the firefighters having exactly the water resources they need to combat those fires. That could look like a lot of different things. It doesn't have to look like nature changing, but it definitely can be a shifting of the energy. So we're just sending all of that water energy. There's a lot of us live right now, so if all 500 of us can just do that for a minute, I think that's a beautiful way for us to be of service, and just allowing that water energy to work through our hands. And then you can pull some of that water energy toward yourself. If your heart needs it, your left hand is your receiving hand and your right hand is your projecting hand. So you can both send and receive at the same time, because it's nice to receive some of that too. Like, my teacher calls it the hand of compassion, resting on your heart. She likes you to visualize you putting it behind your back and up against your heart. So there's a hand of compassion behind you. and then leaning back and letting that hand hold you. Yeah, we don't want a mudslide, but I would like a little sprinkly dinkly over there. It just would be nice. We have a lot of ash and stuff. We don't want an ash. Wet ash is not what you want to be playing with for sure. But yeah, just feeling that. Yeah. And if you're not, I see you, Karen, because Karen says, I'm not feeling worthy of that right now. But you are, you know? So just crack open your heart to the extent that that feels safe and good in this moment. You don't have to throw it wide open. A lot of us have been through a lot of pain, right? So you can't, I mean, maybe you can. I can't just throw my heart wide open when I'm hurting. Not right away. So there's a little bit of like, just give me a little bit, that much. And then see if it feels good to open a little bit more and see if it feels good to open a little bit more. And do you feel the softness? Do you feel that's you holding you, allowing energies to enter your space. And it just feels good sometimes, right? It just feels good. So thank you for being here with me so we can have these moments together. But recognize too, like I said, that there is an aggressiveness in the field right now that is due to some different astrological oppositions, but certainly Mars retro is an issue. What else did I want to tell you about tonight? Oh, I came up with what I thought was kind of a smart metaphor for tonight. Because people say, well, what's a full moon in Cancer like? Here's what a full moon in Cancer is like for me. I feel like Glenda the Good Witch with my, I need, different hair and clothing, but there's a little Glenda vibe going there. Here's what a full moon in Cancer feels like to me. Do you ever go on your phone and go in your pictures and your photos and start going way back and get stuck there? And then all of a sudden go, why am I looking at this? Like, I haven't looked at this in such a long time. Because like the farther back you go, then the farther back you go. And then you can get sad, when you swipe too much this way through your pictures, and all of a sudden you're looking at like, your sweet puppy, from 15, 20 years ago or whatever. And it's like, why am I here? The Cancer full moon, you know how it starts to feel like, God, I really sucked myself in. And then you're like, close those photos down. That's what it feels like to me when I'm too far back in my old pictures, because the reason that is such an apt metaphor, I think, is in shamanic practice, we don't really do that. We don't really go back and live in old pictures and old stories because we're not moving in that direction, right? And if it brings up, sometimes it can bring up pain or trauma or like the little bit of that like resistance in you. It's almost like your body's reliving it again. So what I like to say is to pull yourself out of the doldrums of this full moon, because it certainly has all those energies in it. And this one will drain your energy. Cancer full moons will make you feel like you should stay in bed. If there ever was a way to have like a sick day, like for the Cancer full moon, I think it would be appropriate. Like, no, she won't be in today. It's the Cancer full moon. Sorry. When it transits to Leo, she'll be back. Thank you. Beep. I would tell you that I would offer you to write that letter, but I don't think anyone would receive it or consider it official. So, but it's a funny thought. Oh, you weren't here yesterday. No, Cancer full moon. I stayed home all day and cried. I'm fine. This is fine. Everything's fine. But that's what I did yesterday, right? We do need moon days. Okay, so that is the chunk of the teaching that I wanted to do. I'm going to do a little bit, like I said, of a written exercise with you guys tonight. And then I'm going to do a bigger exercise and a little bit of studying with my after party group, just for a few minutes to get you guys going and see what you guys want to talk about tonight. You cried like it was a Pisces moon? Yeah. Here's the difference to me between Pisces and Cancer, and y'all can check me if you don't agree, because that's just my thoughts. But having a lot of Piscean people in my life and a lot of Cancerian people in my life, one of the things I've noticed is Pisces are better at being in the moment. They're highly emotional, but they're pretty present. Cancers can get really caught up in the past, and they're not sometimes as present emotionally as Pisces are. But cancers are sort of like the family historians. You know what I mean? I always say they hold the drama and the trauma. So, and they don't forget anything. And a lot of times they don't forgive anything either. And you know it's true. So because they're crabs, right? So they just go, remember on June 4th, 1986, when you told me I was ugly? It's like, really? Really? Pisces don't really do that. Scorpios will do that. And then Scorpios will have evidence that you did it. Scorpios will say, do you remember that? Oh, here's a picture of it in case you forgot or deny it because you absolutely did it. Cancers don't go that far. So Scorpios take the past tense of cancers and make it shittier, which is wonderful. So anyway, my daughter is a Pisces sun with a Scorpio moon. So I get little doses of both of those things. But that is your Athena's Guide to the Water Signs. And you know it's true. So I think this is my most Cancerian, Piscean drum. It's not my deepest drum. And I'm going to get my full moon drum back one of these days. I'm on a mission to get my drum. I want to invite you to roll your shoulders back. Just be with me. Nowhere to go. Nowhere else to be. I'll bring you back in half an hour. And always such a pleasure and honor to hold space with you. Well, you know, I mean, generalities are generalities, but by and large, I mean, we could do the same breakdown of the earth signs, the same breakdown of the fire signs. They're all different flavors of ice cream, but the same ice cream, right? So Lena's drumming in Sydney. Thank you, darling. I'm going to send that sun to you. Actually, I think I already have. Right? Oh, thank you. I love you too. And I'm so glad all of you are here tonight. Woo! So tonight we're going to do the work, right? Instead of trying to suppress and repress those big emotions because they're not comfortable, they don't feel good, right? Instead of numbing it out, we're going to sit with it. We're going to ask questions of it, right? We're going to direct it. Grief is the most potent form I have ever had of energy for creation. I can create better when I'm grieving than almost any other time. Doesn't mean I want to live in grief, but when grief comes, I'm always like, I wonder what I'm going to build with that. Instead of like, oh, I wonder what, wonder how I'm going to suffer through that, right? That's right. Millie said she creates the best out of it. So let's do that, right? And it is. It's time to heal together. And again, my heart is especially with everyone in my state tonight. It's unimaginable. So Great Spirit sees us. I trust that to be true. So calling in energies of air to the east, guides and guardians. Help us open this circle. Imagining the moon itself as we open it, point to point, and in that circle, help us to be guided and led, inspired and nurtured by this full moon tonight. And then to the south, guides and guardians of the element of fire. Thank you for helping us step courageously into this new year. This year did not have a gentle entrance, so it's like, boom, here we are. That's fire. Help us to maintain our courage under grace, right? Or grace under fire. Help us to channel our passions for greater purpose. Help us to release fear so that we can step into our power on all levels, physical, emotional, spiritual. Guides and guardians of the East are here. Guides and guardians of the South are here. And then to the West, guides and guardians of the element of water. We ask for your presence tonight. Help us draw down that Cancer moon tonight. Help us to feel all the feelings. We don't have to be the feeling, but we have to feel the feeling. Teach us the difference tonight, guides and guardians of the West. Help us to feel the hand of the Mother, the Great Mother, on our back, holding our hearts tonight. And we don't walk alone. Someone keeps the light on for us. Aww. I love that some of you are back for the first time in a long time. Welcome home. What a great full moon to welcome you back under. What an absolute pleasure tonight. Thank you for being here. I'm so happy. My heart is just so blessed. Truly. So the guides and the guardians of the West are here. We go to the North. Guides and guardians of the element of Earth. Help to stabilize us under this watery, shifting full moon. Has us in our feelings. Our feelings are not our reality. Help us to make a conscious, differentiation between the two. Again, not to be the feeling, just to feel the feeling is enough. That means you let it pass through. Hold your center. Find your feet, as my other teacher likes to say. Where are your feet? Thank you for anchoring us, guides and guardians of the North. They are here. We welcome the guides and the guardians of the upper world, the middle world, and the lower world, the world beneath us, the bones, the stones. Opening up both the X and the Y axis of energies tonight to create sort of a rotating, spinning ball of energy that we can work with, direct, call toward ourselves to heal, share with each other to grow and expand, and direct toward our dreams to create new visions, new possibilities. Just breathe with me here. Let's do a nice inhale for 2 and exhale for 4. That lets your central nervous system regulate. That will ease your anxiety. You can do it again if you like it. In for 2. Out for 4. Gentle winds, light rain, water, Dr. Pepper. Chairs and chairs and chairs and chairs. Okay, so you want to do something fun? I want to do something fun. What are we going to do? Now you can do these exercises a few different ways. You can use your major arcana cards. I have mine here, and I'd be happy to do some fun readings tonight. The other thing you can do is if you have a deck of cards, and if you don't have any cards, don't worry about it. I'll pull some cards for you. But, sometimes people like to do their own thing while I'm doing my thing, and I like that. I'm glad you feel better. And you might get weepy again later, and that's okay. Do you know how hydrating your tears are? Do you know they actually exfoliate your face? That's why I always, I've talked with so many people about grief, but I always say, like, we cry so much when we're grieving, but it's good for your skin. It really does, because there's enough saline in your tears that it sort of exfoliates your cheeks on the way down. I don't recommend it as an anti-aging practice. I'm just saying, you Weepertons, it's not bad for your skin. And they cleanse, they purify. They really, really do. There are different cultures where, tears are captured in bottles and kept as a form of prayer. So if you have a deck like this, I didn't write this deck. I am working on a deck, but this is not mine. This is called the Wild Offering Oracle. I like it because it has keywords. So you can either go with an archetype or a keyword just to get you started. Okay. This is going to be your illuminating card for tonight for the full moon. And again, this is a newer part of my practice. And I told you I pulled one earlier today. I pulled the High Priestess for today as kind of our illuminating card. So if you have that deck, so if you would like me to pull a card for you, let me know. Then I'm going to pull one for myself. So I'll pull for like half a dozen for you. I'm going to pull mostly from the Wild Offering, but might go into like I said, the Arcana too. Okay, Lena wants an archetype card though. Let me start there. Hi, Lena. Isn't it cool that we have our communities global? So we have Northern Hem and Southern Hem, like we just came into winter there in summer, and it's just so cool to have a global community. It's one of my favorite things about what we do. So I'm going to have you just write down the word of the archetype that I give you. Don't do anything else yet. I will tell you what to do. So for Lena, it is the Sun. Fantastic archetype for you, especially both energetically and seasonally for you too. And you have a lot of solar energy. So the Sun card is your archetype. And then I'm going to keep going, just pull a couple of other cards. Nicole, wait, the feed just jumped. Let me see if I can find you again, Nicole. I will try, because it just went like. Nicole, is it Blomker? I hope I pronounced that correctly. So Nicole, your keyword for tonight is clarity. I'm telling you, I think this full moon in Cancer, because full moon in Cancers are not usually super clarifying full moons. There's other full moons that are much more clarifying. Virgo is a very clarifying full moon. But I think this is clarifying because there's other energies at play and because Pluto's in a different sign. So I do think we are seeing more clearly. Aquarians tend to see quite clearly. You may not like what they have to tell you, but they tend to have it. So I'm just going to write down, or moderators can and share with you too what the words are. So we pulled clarity, and then I'm going to pull another card. Let's see, for Bonnie. How are you feeling tonight, Bonnie? Bonnie's here with us. So your keyword, Bonnie, is, here's two words: creative blocks. Something, that can represent some sort of creative restriction, something that, or a need for greater inspiration, which this moon would also deliver. And that could be something that you direct the energy toward. Kathy Carl, your keyword, spaciousness. This is one of my favorite words in the English language. Because doesn't it feel good? If you have spaciousness, that means a lot of different things. Room to breathe, room to be. Nothing is, closing in on you or pushing down on you. So spaciousness is a really delicious word to me. Cindy Vaught said I could use one for my heart. So let's see what your keyword for your heart is. Tonight's the night. Such a good night to focus on your heart. Perfectionism. Where do you need to be more permissive with yourself? One of my first mentors told me to make as many mistakes in my life as I possibly could, as fast as I could, which I think is great advice. It's so true, right? Like, get it all out of the way while you're young. Don't wait to fuck things up until you're old. Okay, and then I'm going to pull for Raina Ray. Hi, Raina. Your keyword is body. So there you go. Now I'm going to pull a keyword for all of us, and I'm going to pull an archetype for all of us. Okay. So if you're here and you're watching, this is for you, and it's also for me too. Okay. My feed just went again. I don't know why it does that. I'm glad you're all here. Okay. So this is for you. If you're here, this is your keyword. Companionship. This is one of 2 love cards in that deck. And it's actually about embracing who you are alone, which creates the right conditions for you to be able to have proper companionship. And then I'm going to pull a collective archetype card too. So you need to write down companionship and write down the moon if you want, or pull your own cards. Those are my cards for you. So I'm going to write them down. So just write them at the top of your clean piece of paper. Now, the moon card, I teach tarot, as you know. I'll tell you what I think. We have very seasoned tarot experts in the feed, so you can also chime in and tell me what it means to you. The moon card usually means there are 2 sides, right? Empty and full. And so it can signal that not everything is as it seems in your life right now. Like, don't get attached. It's going to change. If you love the full moon, that's so great for you. And for the next 12 hours to 24 hours, you get to enjoy it. And then she's not going to be full anymore and you can't stop it. Right? If you love the new moon, great. You're going to have, 24 to 48 hours of that, world of mystery and exploration, and then she's gonna wax and you can't change it. So it's like letting go of your need to control around companionship, what it means to be in a relationship. And these are your cards tonight, so just want to show those to you. And what a couple of great questions, and then totally look at the feed too, because you got smart folks here who have a lot to share, and it's always one of the best things about our community is the community, right? So there's lots of different ways to do